But in the meantime, we are joined by Shadow Policing Minister Alex Norris, who joins us now. Good morning, nice to see you. I want to kick off with this incident that's being reported all over the papers this morning. We've been talking about it a lot this morning. And the boss, in effect, of the campaign against antisemitism being stopped at a protest, a pro-Palestinian protest in London by a member of the Metropolitan Police because he was openly Jewish, to use their terms. This cannot be right, can it? I mean, what would Labour do to change how the Metropolitan Police seems to be operating at the moment?
Well, first of all, morning, Stephen. Thank you for having me. Yeah, I think it is abundantly clear that what's happened in this case is wrong. The Met Police have now accepted it's wrong, so that's, that is a good thing. It isn't for politicians to do operational policing, as you know. Police must feel that they can keep safe and to organise these types of public events in a way that is safe. However, it must, there can be no place for hate in this. And if there is racism, in this case, anti-Semitism, there cannot be that sort of thing. So, what's happened is wrong, and we're glad that the police have accepted that.
OK, Mr Norris, you're here to talk about shoplifting. This is analysis by your party revealed more than 1,000 shoplifting offences are being committed across England and Wales every single day. How would the Labour Party fix this?
Hi, Ellie. What we're seeing is staggering levels, nearly 1,000 incidents every single day of shoplifting. That's on top of pushing 1,000 incidents of violence and abuse against retail workers every day as well. These things haven't happened by accident. They're a direct impact of having cut, as the government have, 10,000 neighbourhood police. About the £200 limit where crimes for theft under £200 has been downgraded. So for us, we want to reverse those changes. Our commitment's 13,000 more police and police community support officers in communities. So they're there detecting and deterring crime, and then to remove that limit to say to people, we're going to take shoplifting serious, whatever it is. And of course, and we're pleased to have moved the government on this after years and years of campaigning, we want to see a standalone offence around violence against retail workers. We think if you put those three things in place, you could really make a dent in this issue.
Yeah, but there's actually a bigger question here, isn't there? People aren't just doing it because they can now. And this idea that it's a free pass for shoplifters, there's something bigger going on, isn't there?
I'm not sure I quite agree. What we do know now is that certainly with the under £200, let's face it, that covers a lot of things. That covers your AirPods, your jeans, your football shirts. That actually, whether it's people who are stealing to feed a habit and then reselling in order to get money for that, or what we've seen a huge explosion of in recent years, which is organised crime realising that this is a great and fertile area of work for them. So we're seeing cases where I talk to retailers of gangs that will go on a weekend and just go up the M1 and down the M1 and get off at every junction and turn those shops over because they think nothing will happen and they think that this is a really soft crime type. And until you take the field and say that's not acceptable, we're going to keep seeing this. And of course, what that then leads to is a terrible environment for staff. They don't want to work in it if they're subject to violence and abuse. And then what we've seen in my town, where we lose shops because retailers look at it and think they're not financially viable, and that's devastating to communities like mine.
Mr Norris, I wanted to ask you about this story about Labour wooing influencers in an effort to win younger voters through TikTok. So you've hired a dedicated employee to work with influencers to kind of seed positive messages about Sir Keir Starmer on platforms like TikTok and Instagram. And you're also offering training, we understand, to Labour candidates on how they can produce influencer-style content. Tell us a bit more about this plan, and do you think it's a good use of party money?
First of all, I think of all the parliamentary party and future Labour candidates, I'm probably the number one person who needs that social media support and training. I can't say I'm on TikTok. I'm not even on Instagram, which gets me pelters from my mates. Nevertheless, these are important outlets now where, I think it was Candace previously just said that for young people, that's where they're getting their news. So we want to talk to people of all demographics to put our offer forward. So you have to go where they are. So in this case, we know that there's been a huge rise. I have to say, influencers and influencer culture is not something I know an awful lot about, but we do know that they are really, really important. So I don't think it's a surprise that political parties like ours are entering into this space.
Yeah, and I can totally understand that. But do you think people will trust what they see online when they know that people are taking cash from political parties in order to promote these sorts of videos? I mean, at what point, what's the difference between an authentic endorsement and something being deceptive?
Well, what we've seen in recent years, which is really important, is that for influencers, if they are taking paid content, they have to indicate that and put that on their messages, so those who are following them can see what is something when they say they're using something, that's a brand that they're using because of their choice or because it's a paid partnership. So there will be that distinction. There already is that distinction. So that gives information so people can make their informed judgments based on that.
I'm quite sure we shall see you dancing about on TikTok before too long, Alex. You know you're going to be doing it. Really good to see you. Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks for having me.